turns the tables on the Rams and creates the game's first turnover.
ODU is 8th in the country in steals. VCU 5th in the country in steals. So you will see that happen during this game.
Nick Wright inside to Bazemore. One more to Dante Hill, and he hammers it home.
And that's a bonus for ODU whenever they can hit a shot from outside the three-point line. They are not a great shooting team. They're a team that their offense for years has often consisted of throw it on the glass and go get it.
John, they are 9th in the conference. Shaka Smart sees Old Dominion come in, as you mentioned, not a three-point threat, just a little over 31% from behind the arc, but Hill gets them on the board early.
You mentioned Cooper not starting. Blaine Taylor has done that at times this season out to try to keep him out of early foul trouble. He picked up 2 quick fouls last week at George Mason, and Blaine Taylor felt that changed the whole game.
An answer from Troy Daniels from behind the arc.
For the Monarchs, Dimitri Batten and Markel Delancey into the game. Basket by Javante Reddick.
Aaron, I was able to save you hundreds.
Yeah, discount double check, I know. I'm kind of over that move.
So are we.
What?
It's a little, soft.
No, it isn't.
It is.
Yeah, it is. They wanted something with a little
Like what?
Do it with me. Ready? Discount, double check.
I like it. It's terrifying.
Right?
Matthews?
What's up, dude?
He plays football professionally.
Hey, Rogers! Move! Matthews!
You could save big with a discount double check, only from State Farm.
We can build a better world. At Virginia State University, we prepare students for rewarding careers as outstanding teachers.
Outstanding engineers. Outstanding computer scientists.
Mathematicians.
Chemists. Outstanding business leaders.
outstanding agriculturalists
Psychologists.
Sociologists.
Historians.
at our Virginia State University.
At my VSU.
We can build a better world.
I'm Dennis Ilmer for Priority. Even with more than 50,000 happy Priorities for Life customers, we're always trying to make it better. So my latest idea is including towing for life. And that's in addition to oil and filter changes. And state inspections for life. And your engine guaranteed for life. Towing for Priorities for Life customers. Always something new at Priority. Matt, put me down.
Sorry, Dad. Not till you tell him that towing was my idea.
Really not. A good zone will push you a half step further out than you think you are, and I think that's what happened to Burgess on the last possession. There, he took the ball to the basket and had a very makeable shot and just couldn't get it to go down. The good news, if you're Shaka Smart, is he is being very aggressive offensively at the start of this game. There's another shot. Just has to make a call.
Cooper cleans up on that. Cooper now working up front with freshman Jason Pimentel from Ocala, Florida. Also redshirt freshman Dimitri Batten in the backcourt. Now this is Batten penetrating and scoring.
That's a good sign for Blaine Taylor, because Batten had a tough time against George Mason coming off the bench a week ago today. Both teams struggling in that game offensively.
Now a steal and a turnover as Bazemore finishes that. Gets it to the hands of Markel Delancey.
Officials really letting him play so far. Only one foul in the first almost 6 minutes. Now two. I opened my big mouth.
Well, Jerry Heater was paying attention.
VCU foul.
This is going to be on the Rams there first, and this will be against Troy Daniels.
Teams first.
It's good in a game like this to have an experienced crew, because officials are human too, Al. They get adrenaline going, crowd gets them going. You need three guys who aren't going to get carried away with the emotion of the game, the same as the players need to not get carried away with the emotion of the game.
If you see it start to get physical, it's time to step in, but as long as they're just playing hard and competitive, let them go.
Exactly. And these two teams respect one another. The coaches respect one another, so you don't expect the game to get chippy. But the officials are there in case it does.
There was a little contact there. Jerry Heater let it go and just gives the basketball to Old Dominion with 25 to go on the shot clock.
One thing good officials do is they're aware of advantage, Al. They're told before the season starts, don't stop the game unless an advantage is gained by contact.
Bazemore.
There, we got a
exactly. Had a clean path in, and he was whacked by Brandenburg. Or make that Darius Theus.
But you mentioned a moment ago how Jerry Heater didn't call a foul on contact because it didn't affect the game. The ball just went back to ODU. There, with Bazemore knocked down going to the basket, clearly you got to stop the game and put him on the line.
We featured Bazemore and Burgess at the top. Both guys very active early. Kent Bazemore now with 3 points, a couple steals and an assist. And speaking with the Old Dominion coaching staff before the game, you've got 4 different positions you can plug Kent Bazemore in, and that is a real luxury for this team.
And they would prefer that he not have to play point guard and bring the ball up, but at moments he has to because of his experience.
There is another impressive-looking freshman, Ted Weber, from right here in the Norfolk area, from Chesapeake, Virginia, and he has been a dynamic performer. We talked about how Bazemore is one of the country's best at steals. He leads the conference and is 15th in the country at over 2.4 steals a game. Trion Iliadis, nice little crossover. Finds Nick Wright off the window, too strong, into the hands of the Rams.
Shot a 7-footer from 5 feet there.
Inside. Quickly, Reddick tries to kick it back out. Goes over the half-court line, and it's turned over for the 4th time. Shaka Smart has seen ODU turn up the defensive heat.
I was about to say that VCU is showing better ball movement against the zone, and then Reddick threw the ball away.
You see both sides now with 4 turnovers apiece.
And that's 8 turnovers in under 7 minutes.
I think these two teams can play D. That was one area where Blaine Taylor knew he had a
to go right back up even if they don't have a good shot.
Trevion Graham, number 21 in the contest. Weber, a stop and pop. It was halfway down and rolls back out. Ahead of the pack is Cooper.
Really nice look by Iliadis there. Saw Cooper breaking free and threw a pass that Eli Manning would have been proud of.
But Cooper didn't have to play Mario Manningham. That was a pretty clean look he got. And extends the lead to 6.
No need for replay.
Off the mark on that is Darius Theus, one of the hotter shooters lately. Iliadis, way off. But there is Cooper again for the chase down.
And again, you see Cooper being patient and bringing it back out and resetting.
Iliadis into Wright, who's fouled on the way up. So when we come back, Nick Wright, Old Dominion, already with a 6-point lead, will be shooting free throws. They've been pounding the glass, and second chance points have made the difference, and it doesn't hurt when you're on the floor.
Into Sabra hummus and discover a little taste of the world. Enjoy Sabra dips. Adventure awaits.
Laces? Really? Slip-on's the way to go. More people did that, security would be like a...
There's no charge for the bag.
Thanks. I know a quiet little place where we can get some work done is a 3-pronged plug.
I have club passes. Now there's a mileage card that offers special perks on United, like a free checked bag, United Club passes, and priority boarding.
Thanks. Okay. What's your secret?
The new United Mileage Plus Explorer card. Get it in your...
Now more than ever, this is the time to put Hyundai at the top of your list. Hyundai beat Toyota. Hyundai beat Honda. And is now the fastest growing automotive brand in the world. Drive home the Hyundai Sonata. 35 MPG. A 100,000-mile warranty. Plus a 5-star safety rating. And during this special event, Sonatas are only $199 a month. So cross out the rest and buy from the best. Visit your Washington area Hyundai dealers today. Because Hyundai has it.
They're enjoying a 6-point lead here in Norfolk, Virginia at the sold-out Constant Convocation Center. Old Dominion with the advantage, and VCU Old Dominion, John, no stranger to postseason play.
No, these are two of the more consistent programs in the country, and there you see the CAA's postseason statistics in the last 6 years. And VCU and ODU have combined to win 4 of the last 5 league championships. And, you know, talking to Blaine Taylor this week, his team, I don't think, gets the credit nationally for what they've accomplished in recent years. 2 years ago, you remember, they upset Notre Dame in the first round of the NCAA tournament, lost a very close game to Baylor, or they could have been in the Sweet 16. Baylor went on to the Elite 8. And then last year, remember, they lost at the buzzer to Butler, and Butler went on to play in the national championship game. Blaine said he's only seen that last-second basket about 600 times, which is 601 more than he wanted to see it.
Probably half of those while he was asleep, waking up in a cold sweat.
Screaming.
Yeah, you talk about that. I mean, you know the state of college basketball, but when you have a man who's produced back-to-back 27-win seasons, that's truly a number that you rarely ever get to.
Yeah, that's Mike Krzyzewski territory, and he's a pretty good coach, last I looked.
Nick Wright, 1 of 2 from the foul line. Now Markel Delancey creating a little havoc. The VCU backcourt.
And Weber coming back to help Theus. And this zone has really been giving VCU fits because they can't get in the lane. It's interesting, we were talking to Jimmy Corrigan, the #1 assistant for ODU before the game, and he was talking about how the teams in the NCAA tournament insisted on playing man-to-man against VCU, and Joey Rodriguez has gotten the lane again and again.
With 2 seconds to shoot, Darius Theus decides to attack and get some free throws out of it.
Well, that time Theus did get in the lane, but it was almost, as you said, out of desperation with the shot clock going down, and he did manage to draw the foul. He has done a very nice job as the season has progressed, filling in for Joey Rodriguez, because to take over, both these teams lost 4-year starters at point guard. Joey Rodriguez, Darius James for ODU. To replace a 4-year starter at point guard is about as difficult as anything you can do in college basketball, because the point guard is so important on the floor. And, you know, Shaka Smart was talking about how with Joey Rodriguez on the court, half the time he didn't have to coach the team. Right. You know, Joey Rodriguez would just walk over and say, I got it, coach. Don't worry about it.
Joey Rodriguez, one of those players who just was able to sense the moment. When do I need to get somebody involved? When do I need to take my shot? He had that perfect balance, and he was a guy who learned from Eric Maynor, who was unfortunately out for the rest of the season in the NBA. But you see what VCU with a Larry Sanders producing pro players, and actually a lottery pick in Larry Sanders with Milwaukee.
And he came out after his sophomore year. One of the rare times you'll see a CAA player come out early.
5-point ball game, 10.5 minutes to go in the first half.
Shaka Smart said his timing as a coach wasn't very good when he came to VCU because he arrived 1 month after Eric Maynor played his last game.
Bazemore again with the shot clock winding down, and now we've got a jump ball, and the possession arrow will reward Old Dominion.
And when you see a lot of possessions where the shot clock goes under 10 seconds like this one, and they did get the ball in good position there finally, but very good post defense by VCU there. When you see that shot clock going down so often, what that indicates is that both teams are struggling against the opponent's defense.
Delancey gets a breather.
Because they're not looking to run clock, obviously, at this point in the game.
A taller lineup now in there with both Wright and Cooper up front. Hill almost turns it over. Wright strong to the basket. A blocking foul against VCU.
Shaka Smart not thrilled with that call. He thought he saw a double dribble there.
Reddick picks up his first. That's going to be the fourth on the Rams.
I don't think I saw a double dribble. I might have seen a walk.
You also did see Reddick sliding at the last second.
Yeah, no, if you're calling a foul there, it was clearly a block. And also, I think he was inside that new circle they have for the officials, that if a player's feet are inside that blue circle underneath the basket, you cannot take a charge. One of the better rules changes we've had in college basketball in recent years. In the old days, they would say to the official, imagine a cone. Yeah. I mean, these guys don't have enough to do without having to imagine a cone. Now they can just look on the floor.
Nick Wright, you saw a moment ago the numbers he put up against William and Mary the other day. Has been on a bit of a hot streak, double figures in 2 of the last 3, and is off to a good start with 6 right now. Iliadis the steal. Here's Bazemore.
Again, quick hands by Iliadis, just reaching in and stripping the ball there. That was not a passing lane steal. That was just a strip.
That's 5 steals now, John, for Old Dominion, but Iliadis picks up a personal here.
There you see, just reaches in and steals it. Smart play by Burgess here. Watch him back off and not commit the foul. How often do you see players in that situation think, I can get a steal, I can get my hand in, and 9 times out of 10 they end up committing a foul and making a 2-point play a 3-point play.
And there you see, with a team like VCU, but although you made the good point, Old Dominion, no slouch when it comes to thefts of basketballs.
Both in the top 10 nationally. ODU with the advantage here, getting a little bit of a boost from the crowd, but also the last steal aside, that was outside of Daniels' range. That's what this zone is doing. It's pushing them outside their range. But in addition to that, they are doing a good job in this zone stepping into passing lanes.
Daniels hit the early 3. VCU now just 1 of 6. Swatted away by Reddick.
Nice play with his long arms there. And then another good hands again by Weber.
Right, lost that. Trevion Graham did the dirty work on the ground. Burgess a clean look at a 3.
And you call that exactly right, because that's one of the first times in this game that VCU has been able to step into an open 3 rather than be outside their range with somebody with their hands up. Burgess was wide open there.
Shaka Smart, they'll take a timeout. It's a 19-14 ODU advantage. Actually, Old Dominion will take the 30.
Watch here in transition, Al. Nice vision here, finding Burgess over there on the wing, and there's nobody near him. The zone had not gotten back into position yet.
You saw Iliadis after that shot, John, talk to Dimitri Batten, the redshirt freshman, whose man it probably was to come out. That's the first VCU field goal in the last 5 minutes and 2 seconds.
And again, Old Dominion doing a really nice job in that zone, and VCU knew this zone was coming. It's a matter of making a decision on how do you attack it. Do you attack it by trying to get in the lane and dish, or do you attack it by shooting threes, or do you attack it with ball reversal? I think ball reversal against the zone is frequently the most effective thing you can do, because if you can get the defense leaning one way and then get it to an open shooter, that's usually your best bet.
And you do have to respect Virginia Commonwealth from behind the arc. 4th best three-point shooting team in the conference. Look at this break. And Iliadis off a pretty feed from Cooper.
That is just how you draw up a press offense in practice. What you want to do against the press is make it hurt the other team. And the way you do that is when you break the press, so many teams will bring the ball out and reset. On that play, ODU just attacked the press and got a layup out of it.
Another mark of good coaching when you see something like that out of a timeout that they call.
These coaches are very well prepared.
Now again, the shot clock ticks under 10. It's down to 6. And a whistle as Ron Tversky sees an offensive foul against Bradford Burgess.
And Burgess looked to the perimeter to Theus and found the open man. But he lost sight of the defender. And here comes the help defense, and a good play because he was a little out of control to take that charge.
So Burgess picks up his first, the 5th on VCU. 7 turnovers now on the Rams. Delancey's back into the contest. Here's Dante Hill. Started the game with a 3. Hasn't gotten one since.
That was not a bad shot. It just didn't go in. Sometimes you miss good shots, too.
Inside they go to Reddick. He is rejected by Cooper.
Great help there by Cooper.
Hill slash into the hole. And they're going to pay a goal 10 as it was rolling around the cylinder, and basket interference gives ODU the bucket. So Chris Cooper and company have put the pressure on Shaka Smart. They're roaring out to a 9-point lead at home in Norfolk.
This winter and spring, the state of Virginia is hosting 8 Colonial Athletic Association championships. Swimming and diving, men's basketball, tennis, track and field, and rowing. Virginia is for lovers of college sports. Go to CAAsports.com for more championship information or visit virginia.org to plan your trip to Virginia today. Come watch some of the best student athletes in the country. Virginia is for lovers of college sports.
You've felt like this before, right? 2:30 in the afternoon, a lot to do, and you've hit the wall. But you gotta get stuff done. So take 5-Hour Energy. Just open it up, knock it back, and roll up your sleeves. 5-Hour Energy is faster and easier than coffee. Man, does it work. You'll get that alert, energized feeling you need to get stuff done. A lot of stuff. Wow, look at you go. 5-Hour Energy, when you gotta get stuff done.
Come into Jim Coleman Infiniti today and see why our cars are great, but our people are better.
It's really fun watching young people as they bring their mom and dad in to buy a brand new Infiniti G37, and then watching mom and dad as they fall madly in love with that vehicle. Talk about your generation gap. I love the family atmosphere here at Jim Coleman Infiniti. I like to treat people the way I'd like to be treated.
Now at Jim Coleman Infiniti, lease a new 2012 FX35 with all-wheel drive for only $439 a month. Visit JimColemanInfiniti.com.
Old Dominion on a run. They've opened up a 23-14 lead over arch rival VCU. Kent Bazemore has been watching from the bench, but John, early on, he certainly was active at every end of the court.
Well, there's nothing better than turning defense into offense, especially when it leads to shots, high percentage shots like that one. And here you see him now after the Iliadis steal. And already Old Dominion has 10 points off of turnovers versus 5 for VCU. And that's the kind of margin they need because, as I said earlier, through the season, they have turned the ball over more than their opponents. They need to reverse those numbers, obviously, to be successful.
We'll see out of the timeout if Bazemore returns to the contest. He's gotten a nice rest. Looks like he may sit for a little longer, and what a great advantage that is to have a 9-point lead, and you can give this man more time. You know, he broke his foot during the summer, and even though he started the season, everybody at the ODU program says it really took him a little while to get going, and you can understand why.
They had surgery in August, and there's another steal.
Iliadis again. Delancey will back it up. Now Dante Hill from the other corner hits this one.
And VCU struggling against the pressure that's being applied by ODU, and then ODU is doing a very good job of getting back into their zone so that VCU doesn't have a chance to attack the press the way ODU's been able to do on a couple of occasions. Nice pass there.
And Reddick will finish.
Whoops, there's a turnover the other way.
That was one of those unforced turnovers. Is Blaine Taylor telling Nick Wright to look at who you're throwing it to?
Well, Hill zigged when Wright thought he was going to zag, is what happened there. But going back to your point about Kent Bazemore, Blaine Taylor said, you know, he was picked as the preseason player of the year in the CAA. And Blaine Taylor said, I hate those awards because it puts a target on the player's back. And here's Bazemore starting the year as preseason player of the year, and he's not close to 100%. And he said in November and December when Bazemore was struggling, Blaine's very colorful the way he talks, he was treated like a leper by people because he was struggling and he was supposed to be the preseason player of the year. No longer is he being treated that way.
No. And speaking of Mr. Bazemore, he returns along with Markel Delancey. Hill and Iliadis will sit. Burgess dropping in the first of his 2 free throws.
Of course, Blaine Taylor's been playing hurt all year.
Yeah.
He felt something pop as he was running off the court early in the season in the game against Missouri at halftime. And 12 days ago, he had surgery, arthroscopic surgery for a torn meniscus. He was on crutches until a few days ago.
That pass out of the reach of Delancey. Burgess will pound in a 3.
Well, that's a quick turnaround, both because of turnovers, which, as we said, has been Old Dominion's Achilles heel all season long.
So VCU turning the tables again, and another steal. This by Daniels. He'll pull up for 3.
Now remember, Blaine Taylor took a quick timeout early in this game, so he doesn't want to use a second one here in the first half. Most coaches like to use that use it or lose it timeout, but not a second one in the first half.
More pressure. Delancey finds Wright. He's fouled and 1.
Well, the VCU press is leading the buckets at both ends of the court right now. The Rams are scoring off it, and now ODU gets to score off it. But here's Burgess with the steal and steps into the 3. When he steps into the 3, he's very effective. Here's another turnover against the pressure, and another 3. And then they turn it around, and they've got a chance now to get a 3-point play, as they say, the old-fashioned way with Wright finishing, but he doesn't finish off the 3-point play.
Jerry Heater asked by Earl Robinson to provide some vision that he couldn't get, and says it's going to stay with ODU.
And that's good officiating. Earl Robinson did not have a good angle. Jerry Heater had a better angle out here as the trail official, and he asked him for help.
Now contact inside. This is going to be a foul going against Troy Daniels, and it's a 7th team foul on VCU. So Old Dominion will be shooting 1-1. This is an area, however, John, where the Monarchs struggle. The 11th out of 12 teams in the CAA in free throw percentage at just 61% as a team.
And when you get late in the season and you're in close games, that can really hurt you.
They've been hurt already this afternoon, as Old Dominion so far just 4 of 8 from the stripe.
And of course, when you miss the front end of 1-on-1s, you're giving up opportunities for 2 points.
Out of bounds.
That's just a bobble.
VCU, they bobbled it away. That is the 9th Ram turnover. And we still have 5:52 to go in the first half.
Well, the interesting thing is both teams have been very effective when they don't turn the ball over, but they've been turning it over a lot. They get into their offense and get a shot up. They've been making a pretty decent percentage thus far.
Rams now set back in a zone.
A different look for Shaka Smart, trying to keep them out of the lane.
Bazemore looking for the foul. They're going to say some contact off a VCU player, so Old Dominion will have 16 to work with.
Well, Bazemore got half of what he wanted there. He wanted the foul. He'll settle for getting the ball back. See if there's contact here. No, that's a good call by Ron Taberski. It was a deflection, but didn't see a foul.
Also, Briante Weber just deflected that, so Dante Hill can play it in the backcourt. But there's only 5 to go. Bazemore, and a foul, a blocking foul, is going to go against Darius Theus.
Darius Theus gave Ron Taberski a look like, you could have given me that one, but okay, you got it.
So again, with the shot clock barely seconds away from going off, ODU gets bailed out, and Shaka Smart unhappy about that.
By the way, have you ever seen a good shooter like a Kent Bazemore shoot an air ball without insisting he was fouled?
No, never. And there is an ugly-looking free throw.
He couldn't blame that one on being fouled, unfortunately.
We mentioned this is an area that concerns Old Dominion. No matter what you do, they do not shoot well from the stripe. There's nobody that you could really say is their go-to guy.
Well, Bazemore was 2 of 8 last Saturday against George Mason. And you cannot have your best player missing that many free throws, because the ball is going to be in his hands. And presumably, he's going to make plays that will create fouls.
You see it. I think you can add maybe one more to the Old Dominion numbers and make it 4 of 9. VCU's been good there.
One thing that makes coaches crazy, because if you ever watch practice, 3-4 times during practice they will stop and say, okay, shoot free throws, guys.
Burgess kicks it out to Weber. Dimitri Batten now.
Batten long arms for a guard, so he should be a good rebounder.
There's a tough catch there by Hill. Cooper battling for it. Can't finish. Looks for another opportunity. And this is going to go against an ODU foul called by Ron Taberski.
It's
clearing out on the inside.
And that's the kind of play that, again, gives coaches gray hair if they haven't already got it, or if they're like Shaka Smart and they don't have much hair. Because Cooper has a makeable shot, misses it, gets frustrated, and then commits the foul.
And that is his second foul, so he sits with 2. Dante Hill joins him on the bench.
And we talked in the open about not starting him to try to keep him out of foul trouble, and yet he picks up his second here with 4:40 left in the half.
That was a lot of effort just to get it over half court, and now VCU sets up with about 17 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, that's one of the reasons why sometimes pressure, if it doesn't create a turnover, still works to your advantage, because it shortens the clock. Now it's at 5.
And a kick ball. This will reset the shot clock to 15, so a break for the Rams.
I still think they changed the rule a couple of years ago. It used to be a kick reset all the way to 35. Now it resets to 15. I think it should stay right where it is. If it's...
So you'd like to hear us say kick save it a beauty more often. Is that what you want?
Especially if it's by Cesar Maniaga. There's a name from the distant past.
Your North Star pass.
He was a Ranger.
Oh, well, I remember him as a North Star. So was Gump Worsley. You didn't bring him up. Turned over again.
He was really a Canadian.
Brandenburg slashing in, off balance, won't go. No call.
Nice defense.
Batten with the rebound.
That was really good defense to stop the ball there.
How about Batten, a spinning drop-in from Dimitri Batten.
That was spectacular by Batten. Really out of character for him to be that aggressive offensively.
This freshman starting to come on. He's got 4 points this afternoon. And a whistle here as he's helped up off the floor and picks up a personal foul. We've got a timeout. Dimitri Batten getting it done with some flourish at the other end. The spin and the drop in.
I believe the produce you find at Kroger is better than anywhere else, period.
It's gotta be fresh.
Every cut of meat I put out is absolutely fresh.
You can really taste the difference. We bake our bread fresh in our store.
You can't get any fresher.
If you need fresh flowers, Kroger has something beautiful.
You have to see what we have to offer in organic and natural foods.
At Kroger, we're focused on quality.
I'm focused on quality.
I'm focused on quality.
I'm focused on quality.
I'm focused on quality.
Get more value
for the way you live. Every day at Kroger.
At VCU, there's so many opportunities you can take advantage of.
The academics here are quite good. We have nationally ranked programs across both campuses.
Just that opportunity that we have to seize it from research to bettering ourselves as students.
So take advantage of what you have, because this is your time.
Wake up, see the day, then seize the day. Step in to your own shoes. Your time is right now, but only if you choose.
The lead is 6 for Old Dominion. Earlier we talked about the pros that VCU has produced lately. Well, there's Dave Twardzik, number retired, longtime Portland Trailblazer, and there is Dave in attendance working as a scout for the Orlando Magic.
Now, one of 7 numbers retired here at Old Dominion, and of course point guard on the 1977 Portland Trailblazers championship team, led by a guy named Bill Walton. And a great shooter. My goodness, was he a great shooter of the basketball.
The numbers and what Dave accomplished here at Old Dominion. Now Shaka Smart producing talent at the other end for VCU.
Shaka Smart is a really interesting guy to talk to. He was talking about trying to find ways to help your team win on the road. And last year they were 1-4 on the road early on. And Joey Rodriguez came to him and said, Coach, we're tired of these shoot-arounds on Friday night or Tuesday night on the road. Can we just go to a movie? And Shaka Smart said, sure. Why don't you try that? They went and saw Red Tails that night, won the next day, and since then, they always go to a movie. The players, no coaches, just the players, pick a movie. They go to it on the road. They plan ahead. Last night they saw the new Denzel Washington movie, Safe House. And I asked Shaka if he got a review from any of the players. He said, no, they don't talk to me about that stuff.
Well, maybe it prepares them to come into an unsafe house this afternoon at the Constant Convocation Center, but they've got some work to do. It's a 5-point lead for Old Dominion as we approach the 3-minute mark remaining in the first half. Here's a very talented young player in Richard Ross, a freshman who has got unbelievable athletic skills, has yet to really kind of find his groove offensively. Markel Delancey, that's going to be a 2, and now
they're going to take a look at it, I think.
Jerry Heater called a 2. At the other side, Earl Robinson was saying a 3, so they will take a look at our replays and give you an idea of exactly what the mark will be.
Actually, this is one thing with replay that bothers me. You stop the game. You know, you should just, if the officials disagree, I can't see from that angle.
Nick Wright was blocking our view.
Needed to get out of our way. But if they disagree, they should just say whichever. It's really Earl Robinson's call, and he should make the call.
Although that's a great replay.
That looked like a 2.
Yeah.
And they got it pretty quickly.
Terrific work by the outstanding crew we've got this afternoon here in Norfolk, Virginia, thanks to all the men and women in our Comcast Sportsnet crew.
And, you know, one of the things about Delancey making that shot is he is not a shooter. So anytime he makes a shot, whether it's a 2 or a 3, that's a bonus for Blaine Taylor.
Yeah, just a 36% shooter from the field overall.
And he's one of those guys who the other team is basically going to dare him to shoot until he makes some. They dared him to shoot there, and he made that.
It's been a while since VCU has scored a field goal. They had an earlier 5-minute drought. And now this drought is lasting about 6 minutes.
Really struggling with his zone.
Graham tries to end it, and Trevion Graham will do it.
Nice move. It's usually not smart to dribble through a double team, but he succeeded that time and got a pretty good shot at it.
He's averaging almost 10 points and 4.3 rebounds the last 3 games. So Trevion Graham is a man who's starting to produce, a freshman at the right time.
Get out of the Washington, D.C. area.
Iliadis goes baseline, tries to force it into Wright, who makes a great catch but can't finish.
Good catch, poor shot.
Burgess starting to feel it. Bradford Burgess.
That's 3 threes in a row he's made since he started out so cold. And that's why Shaka Smart was talking, that he wants Burgess to be aggressive. Even if he's missing shots, he wants him to continue to attack offensively because they need him to do that.
He's got 13 of the Rams' 30 points, made it a 2-point contest. A whistle now by Earl Robinson. And this will add to the VCU foul total up to 9 now, so 1 away from the double bonus for Old Dominion.
And Blaine Taylor probably averts his eyes whenever he sees 1 and 1.
Yeah.
Next foul, of course, will put them in the double bonus, but only a minute 34 left in the half.
Dante Hill about to check back into the contest. With 94 seconds to go in the first half.
And VCU has to feel pretty good right now, Al, given the droughts they've had, given their struggles against that ODU zone, that they're sitting here only down by 2 with a minute and 34 left to play before the break. Sometimes when you're on the road, especially in a building like this where the atmosphere is so great, you kind of have to survive the first half and then try to win the game in the second half. It's a little bit like a golf tournament where players say you can't win on Thursday, but you can lose it on Thursday. You can't win a game in the first half, but you can lose it.
Hey, a pair of free throws. Dimitri Batten knocks in a couple.
And they stop the game for him.
Batten will check out with Dante Hill returning.
Now, having said what I just said about the fact that it's only a 4-point margin, VCU needs to be careful here. Not have any quick turnovers or baskets for Old Dominion here leading into halftime.
So for that, they put the balls in the hands of Theus and Daniels. Brandenburg as they work around. Here's Brandenburg, got a clean look, back of the iron on that. Tipped out by Burgess, who's frustrated he couldn't hold on to it.
No good ball movement. They got a good shot there. Brandenburg just couldn't get it to go down. And Burgess did get into one of those seams in the zone to get his hand on the rebound, but he just couldn't hang on to it.
Hasn't got a rebound yet this afternoon, but he does have those 13 VCU points.
Actually, good play by Delancey. They're challenging him for the ball and not allowing him to control it and thus lose it out of bounds.
Weber, with the full court pressure, creates the steal. He'll go in and get fouled. Deontay Weber leading the CAA, as we mentioned, with 2.4 steals per game, 15th in the national, in the NCAA.
And you can see why. I mean, not only does he have long arms, but watch how low he gets here. Look how low he is to get his hand on the ball there. That's what really good guards do defensively. The guy who was the best I ever saw at it was Muggsy Bogues when he was at Wake Forest. Used to drive Dean Smith crazy because Dean insisted that Bogues was so low to the ground at 5'3" that the officials couldn't see him fouling because his body was so low to the ground. See Weber, as you mentioned, 15th in the country, and he's only going to get better and more dangerous.
Both teams with 7 steals on the afternoon. Weber 1 of 2 for his free throws with exactly a minute to go.
Now, there are teams that don't get 7 steals in a month, much less in a half.
Wright tried to force it inside. Burgess pestering him. Delancey's got to come back, and they're going to say over and back.
Now, Blaine Taylor is going to argue that the ball was touched by Virginia Commonwealth, but I think the call was that he recovered possession and then lost it in the backcourt. Let's see what we see here. There was definitely contact there, but then the ball goes through his legs, and I think that's what was called, that the ball had gone through his legs, and that's why Jerry Heater called over and back.
Either way, it's the 11th Old Dominion turnover, and gives VCU a chance to tie it with a 3 or get within 1. Trevion Graham looking to penetrate. Throws it up crazily. Reddick the rebound. Blocked away. Graham one more time. Reddick the putback. 4 for $1, and VCU pulls to within 1 and quickly calls a timeout.
Well, and Shaka Smart, interestingly, using his lose it or use it timeout to set up his defense. Usually you see coaches in the last minute of the first half use that timeout to set up an offensive play. He chose to just run offense there. Graham gets it in the lane, and then great job rebounding. Again, that's the problem in a zone, is that you don't have a specific man that you're guarding, and sometimes they get in seams and get rebounds, and Shaka Smart right away calls the timeout to set up his defense. I would be very surprised if they don't attack defensively and don't just let ODU come down and set up their offense to run it for a last shot. I think they'll go after another steal here.
Also, that's got to please Shaka Smart, John. He's talked to us about when you go against an ODU team that leads the conference in rebounding, you've got to do your part on the boards, and that was 3 rebounds right there and getting a big bucket out of it.
Now, they've done a good job on the boards in this first half and getting some offensive boards against this zone. And here you see Burgess with some pressure, and they choose to have Bazemore bring it up. Interesting switch by Blaine Taylor there.
Burgess pokes it away. Batten back into the contest. Will pull out for a 3. Short, but the put back in by Nick Wright.
Got lucky, but he still shot too soon.
At the buzzer.
Shouldn't count.
It won't. Reddick has it waved off by the officials, and Blaine Taylor, who we'll speak to in a moment, is able to walk into the locker room with a 3-point lead. Exactly what we expected this afternoon here in Norfolk, Virginia, between these 2 longtime rivals, as Old Dominion coach Blaine Taylor is getting ready to join us momentarily.
And they are checking just to be sure, Al, on that last shot. But I think it clearly came after the buzzer.
Yes. There is the Nick Wright putback. And Nick at the other end. So that definitely counts. And here's how the half would end with that long throw. But we understand Blaine Taylor is with us right now. Blaine, is this what you expected with these 2 teams who go at it as well as anyone in the conference?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give credit to both squads. I mean, we played really hard. We've caused some turnovers. They've played hard, caused some turnovers. Rebounds haven't been easy to get. There's been some really big plays on offense. So just great Saturday afternoon entertainment for everybody.
Blaine, the zone has done a great job for you keeping them out of the lane. Are you at all concerned about them getting on the offensive boards if you continue to play that zone in the second half?
Well, boards is an issue everywhere. They work really hard against us on the glass. one of the problems we've had is a lot of foul trouble, so we're trying to play a little zone, just keep them in front of us. Pick your poison. Right now, I'd like to keep them in front of us best I can.
Blaine, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
ODU head coach Blaine Taylor. They've got the lead, 36-33, in the 87th meeting between the Monarchs and the Rams of Old Dominion. So, we will be back. We've got our halftime activities, a look around at the scores from the conference and the updated standings when we continue from Norfolk on home. Moments away from the start of the second half here in Norfolk. VCU down by 3. Their head coach Shaka Smart joins us. Shaka, you wanted to get Bradford Burgess going early. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, Brad was terrific. I thought he played with no fear. He really attacked the basket, obviously made some big shots for us. We're going to need that again in the second half.
Shaka, a lot of your offense has come off of your defense. Anything you think you can do to adjust to this zone and when you're in half-court offense?
Well, we just need to continue to move the ball and be courageous against the zone. I thought in the latter stages of the first half, we did a better job getting in the paint, sitting down, and making the extra pass, and that's what we're going to have to do.
Shaka, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate Shaka Smart and Blaine Taylor for joining us at halftime here in Norfolk, Virginia. Time to take a look at our leading scorers, John. We were mentioning Bradford Burgess. He certainly has gotten the job done. And Nick Wright, another double-figure performance for Nick Wright, who's been a key factor lately for Old Dominion.
If I am Old Dominion, I'm happy to see that. But if I'm Blaine Taylor, I want to see more production out of Ken Bazemore. He did not play particularly well in the first game up at VCU. They need him to be a big factor in the second half. And obviously, for VCU, Burgess needs to keep doing what he was doing, keep being aggressive, and they need to get the ball inside to Reddick more often than they did.
Well, let's take a little closer look at what Bradford Burgess did in the first half. He's just 2 points away from tying Gerald Henderson as the second all-time leading scorer in VCU history.
Struggled a little bit early, but in all 3 of these threes, what they have in common is that he's stepping into it. He's not stepping back, and he doesn't have a hand in his face. That last one was a little bit deep, but it went in, so he clearly was feeling it there near the end of the half.
So with VCU down by 3 to that Old Dominion team, Bradford Burgess and company will have first possession to get this second half going. As this sellout crowd settling back down in their seats. We've had a tremendous atmosphere. John, this is the 19th sellout that these two teams have had for each other. You know, if it's in Richmond or if it's here in Norfolk, you always see sellout crowds when these two clubs get together.
Well, the Siegel Center in VCU has been sold out for the last 16 straight games dating back to last year. If you and I were the opponents, I think they'd sell the building out.
Well, as long as you were doing a book reading, I'm sure that would make a difference.
Get people leaving.
Oh, okay. We've gotten under 10 to shoot now as this zone again for Old Dominion, creating some problems. Reddick had to push it up with the shot clock about to hit.
Well, Shaka Smart wanted the ball in the post there. He wants to attack the zone. I think that's what he meant when he said be courageous. But it was late in the shot clock, as you pointed out, and Reddick was forced to shoot the ball more quickly than he wanted to.
Haley comes away with that rebound after the Cooper tip. Nick Wright trying a three-pointer. Nick Wright not usually known for that, although he is 7 of now 19 from behind the arc.
If you shoot 33% or better from behind the arc, that's not a bad percentage out, because that's the equivalent of shooting 50% from 2. So 7 of 19, even though it doesn't sound very good, is not a terrible number.
Daniels going for the tie, misses from the corner.
Both teams a little cold coming out here. Crowd just settling back in, not really back into the game yet.
Here is Bazemore looking to get Dante Hill going and pushed it too far for him.
And Bazemore saying to Dante Hill, my fault. He just led him too much on that pass.
Blaine Taylor's got the jacket on. They coached most of the first half without it. We'll see how long that remains on the former mustachioed coach.
That was a big moment in Blaine Taylor's life. He has had a mustache since he was in college, but last summer his daughter was getting married and he was about to become a grandfather for the first time. He said, what the heck, I'll clean it up a little bit, I'll shave it, and he's gone clean shaven, and he really doesn't look like himself without the mustache. Shaka Smart, of course, who goes with the goatee look, he's also had some facial hair since college, too.
Bazemore doing the ball handling.
How's that for research? Huh?
That's perfect, Don. You're deep into the sartorial and
Way into TMI.
That's right. See the turnover story as the slow start and the sluggish beginning of this second half continues, and this crowd in Norfolk doesn't know what to make of it.
You should be comfortable with this. It's like hockey, no scoring.
And it is a little cold in the building.
It is a little cold in the building. Ovechkin comes towards us, though. I'm ducking.
This to the hole. Cooper got a piece. Now Reddick tried to put Haley with the putback, and they're going to foul on the interior. This is going to go against Nick Wright.
And that might be the first time today you said the name Haley since we introduced the starting lineups. And that's 3 fouls on Cooper. That's the last thing in the world Blaine Taylor wanted to start the second half, was Cooper picking up his 3rd foul. And Cooper's complaining about it. Blaine Taylor's complaining about it. But Cooper, as a senior, has got to be aware of the foul situation.
Haley bounces that free throw in, and now a timeout is going to be called by Blaine Taylor, who still, as he heads towards center court, wants to see from the officials why that call was made. He's not happy. VCU's got a chance to cut it to within 1.
At VCU, there's so many opportunities you can take advantage of.
The academics here are quite good. We have nationally ranked programs across both campuses.
Just that opportunity that we have to seize it from research to bettering ourselves as students.
So take advantage of what you have, because this is your time.
Wake up, see the day, then seize the day. Step in to your own shoes. Your time is right now, but only if you choose.
This winter and spring, the state of Virginia is hosting 8 Colonial Athletic Association championships. Swimming and diving, men's basketball, tennis, track and field, and rowing. Virginia is for lovers of college sports. Go to CAAsports.com for more championship information, or visit virginia.org to plan your trip to Virginia today. Come watch some of the best student athletes in the country. Virginia is for lovers of college sports.
Technology accelerates at a relentless pace. Anything not moving forward is moving backward. Introducing the 2013 GS with the Lexus Inform app suite, the most connected information and communication technology available in an automobile. The all-new 2013 Lexus GS. There's no going back. See Lexus of Richmond.
We're back in Norfolk, and John, a critical moment in a 2-point ball game just took place.
Well, Blaine Taylor just got teed up during the timeout, and let's watch the play that led to it. It looked like Theus might have walked here. Cooper comes over, and I'm not sure where they called the foul, but if they called it on the rebound, he was just underneath Burgess, and that's really, see, I don't think the foul was called there. I think it was called on the rebound, and that's what upset Blaine Taylor. And as we went to timeout here, he really lost it for a moment out on the court, screaming at Ron Taberski, and then screaming at everybody in the building, basically. Watch this. And eventually he gets teed up here by everybody. It looked almost like he might have got drawn 2, but he only got 1. And now Burgess will shoot the free throw.
So Burgess will shoot the free throw before.
He'll shoot a technical, and then if it was a rebounding foul, which I think it was, VCU will inbound, because I think the foul was called on the rebound, not on the shot.
But there was still another foul shot to go from Haley.
two for the technical.
But Haley had only shot 1 of his 2 free throws, correct? So Haley steps back to the line now and will shoot another free throw.
Talk about freezing somebody.
So it was Blaine Taylor that got the timeout, and he got his money's worth, so to speak. Haley won't complete the 2 free throws the way he wanted, but it is a 1-point ball game. However, VCU could have taken the lead if they had hit all those technicals and the Haley extra free throw.
Well, let's see now if Blaine Taylor's technical gives his team a boost, because that does happen sometimes.
And Reddick running into Hill. He picks up number 2.
And I'm not saying that was the wrong call over there by Jerry Heater, but never do you see the next whistle after a technical foul go against the team that's just been teed up. And they bumped bodies there clearly, and Jerry Heater got the foul. It was also Jerry Heater who initially called the technical on Blaine Taylor, although Ron Taberski had it too.
High off the glass was Bazemore. Wright gets a second chance. Iliadis the quick launch.
Place would have exploded if Iliadis had made that. What Blaine Taylor has done, let's see if it affects his team, is he has brought the crowd into the game. And I'm not sure that wasn't a little bit intentional.
Yeah.
That he wanted to send a message to the officials, but the crowd has come out kind of sitting on its hands at the start of the second half. Now he's got him into it.
Iliadis pressured.
That could have been 5 seconds.
You see how Old Dominion starts to creep away now with that rebounding advantage. That is usual operations for ODU.
They average 7 rebounds a game more than their opponents, so they're right on track at the moment.
Cooper, the turnaround, and now a hold here as Daniels reached in and wouldn't let Nick Wright get up.
Coincidence or not, 3 whistles since the technical, and they've all gone ODU's way.
We'll give this to Javante Reddick. I thought they were going to get Daniels, and that is his third. So the 2 big men in this game, Cooper and Reddick.
Yeah, I think at the start of the game, that is a no call because the 2 players were pushing and shoving with one another. You could have called it either way.
ODU still yet to score in this half.
Very good ball pressure by Daniels on Iliadis.
Bazemore trying to change that, kicks it to Hill. Wright tried to force it in. That goes off the leg of Trevion Graham.
And really, ODU needs to score here because the crowd is now settled down again since that technical. They were pumped there for a minute, but they're waiting for a basket to kind of get them going again.
10 to shoot.
Remember, ODU has not scored yet in this half.
0 of 6 from the field. Bazemore makes it 0 of 7, and the rebound into the hands of Bradford Burgess.
Neither team has a field goal yet. That's a tight ball. That's a jump ball. Good play, good call.
Bazemore with the work, and so Old Dominion gets possession thanks to the senior.
That's Bazemore with those hands again and those long arms. And you see, watch him reach in here, and he's all over the basketball and just ties him up. That's a great call. And an excellent defensive play by Bazemore. And now Blaine Taylor switching things up again with Bazemore bringing it up against the pressure.
You mentioned earlier how Kent Bazemore was selected as the CAA preseason player of the year. He was the defensive player of the year in the conference last season. But they turn it over here. Daniels against Iliadis. Iliadis with the swat. They say it's a clean block, but it'll stay with VCU as there's a timeout on the floor. Well, we haven't seen much offense, but the defense continues to work at a fever pitch. It's a 1-point game here in Norfolk.
One thing's for sure, when I'm talking sports, I'm always right. Except you're wrong most of the time. The football guy always thinks he knows everything. At least when I say it, I mean it. I'll give you that, old man. I played the game. I know the real story. Talk is cheap, B. Mitch. We have to see about that. Okay, journalists, as the games begin, let's do this.
Brian Mitchell joins Ivan Carter on Sports Talk Live, Monday at 10:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Since 1986, the destination for discriminating car buyers has been Select Auto Imports, home to over 150 of the finest certified pre-owned luxury imports priced up to $10,000 below book value. Hand-picked Mercedes, BMWs, Jaguars, Porsches, Maseratis, and more, all fully inspected from the dealership that has satisfied over 15,000 Washingtonians. Be selective. Select quality. Select value. Select Auto Imports in Alexandria, Virginia. SelectAutoImports.com.
Sports, business, metro news, life, commentary. The Washington Times, now with more coverage than ever before. Beyond politics, national news, and exacting commentary, you'll find a complete newspaper with our recognized quality of coverage in every section. The Washington Times, today's paper, online or on your doorstep.
It's been that type of afternoon here in Norfolk, Virginia. A one-point ball game. Second half action. Al Koken and John Feinstein with you here on Comcast Sportsnet. John, let's revisit our Kroger game plan and some key points made early, and they're bearing out.
Well, I would say that both teams are 1 for 2 in terms of what was important before the game. VCU's 6 down in the rebounding, which isn't great, but isn't horrible. But they did get Burgess going early, and he's been their best player, which Shaka Smart says that he always needs to be. Old Dominion point guard play has been very good, 24.6 assists. But as we know, Blaine Taylor is very unhappy with the 3 fouls on Cooper, as he demonstrated very clearly as we went to that break a couple minutes ago.
Well, will either team get a field goal off that timeout? ODU 0 of 7 to start the half. VCU 0 of 4 from the field. Both teams with 2 turnovers apiece, as we've almost played 5 minutes of basketball.
The way these teams are shooting, the game could be decided in a shootout.
Trevion Graham adds to the miseries.
0 for 12 combined at the moment.
And another whistle from Jerry Heater.
Remember, we talked at the start of the game, Al, about how the officials were letting them play. And we've seen here in the second half, it's gotten a little chippier. You know, teams are getting a little emotional, a little frustrated with their shooting, and the whistles have come a little more quickly as a result.
That was on DJ Haley, his second, 3rd VCU foul. Iliadis in and out. But Earl Robinson says stay right here.
Yeah. And again, Shaka Smart, you saw him a minute ago when they didn't get a foul call on the break. I will bet you your salary, which is considerably higher than mine, that he made a comment at that point about just because you teed the other guy up doesn't mean I don't get any calls the rest of the day. Because coaches are very conscious of that sort of thing.
You could look under your sofa cushions for my salary.
I have a very big sofa.
So that foul was on Burgess, his second. That will be an area to watch as they've got 4 team fouls on VCU. Hill pushes inside to Cooper. Watched by Haley and fouled on the way up.
I'll give a lot of credit to Hill for that entry pass. One of the most underrated things in basketball is the clean entry pass into the post to a guy who's in position. Watch him. Good seal by Cooper, but really good pass by Hill. No choice but to foul him.
So Cooper has now got 3 points to go with 6 rebounds, 4 of them offensive. And if you'd like to find out the latest stats on guys like Chris Cooper or anyone else in the CAA, you have all the scores, standings, and news with every CAA sport. Log on to CAAsports.com. It's presented by Ramada Worldwide. You do your thing, leave the rest to us. 1 of 2 at the stripe. Still no field goals.
Score in this half is 2-1.
Yeah, but it was the first ODU point in nearly 5.5 minutes of basketball in this second half.
And some of this is good defense, but some of this is also poor shooting. It's interesting. The teams have cut down on the turnovers in this half, and what that means is nobody's getting easy baskets. They're forced to try to score out of their half-court offense.
And the first field goal is a 3 for Trevion Graham.
You'd figure it'd be a freshman.
By the way, you see number 34 in black and gold, David Hinton, redshirt junior in the contest. And Burgess creates a turnover. Theus to Bremer, back to Theus, and a goaltend.
I don't know why Blaine Taylor's complaining on that one, because that was textbook goaltend. Really nice passing there by VCU after
and a technical foul. Ron Taberski's going to tee up Markel Delancey.
For talking, because he's indicating with his fingers he said something. And I imagine it wasn't, how do you like the beach down here in the Norfolk area?
Well, that Graham three-pointer had given the Rams their first lead. And now that goaltend call.
Ron Taberski explaining to Blaine Taylor why he called the technical on Delancey. And oftentimes in a moment like this, a coach will take a player out to try to cool him off, and I think that's what he's going to do right now.
Batten will be checking back into the contest. and in place of Markel Delancey. Burgess adds to the VCU lead as he'll have a pair of free throws. Hit the first. A 79% man from the stripe.
This is a rule change a couple years ago that I don't like, where you don't lose possession when your team is called for a technical. I think it should matter when you get teed up, and they now give you the ball back even if you've been called for a technical if it's your possession. I think you should lose the possession.
By the way, John, those points at the free throw line gives Burgess 1,543, moves past Gerald Henderson in the all-time scoring list at VCU.
Old Dominion just turned it over again. They are a little bit out of sorts right now. I think Blaine Taylor needs to take a timeout.
And he will.
Must have heard me. And he's got to be careful not to let his frustration
He's
show
already got
right now.
one turnover.
He'll be in the locker room.
Technical, the next one he's gone. 15 turnovers. Blaine Taylor's squad has been flagged for. 25 in the first meeting at Richmond. As we said, we still have 13:48 to go. So that was an area they knew they had to clean up, and right now it's coming back to haunt them again.
Well, and as we said, Old Dominion still doesn't have a field goal in his half. They've got 1 point from the free throw line, and VCU finally got a couple field goals, one on the 3 out of the corner, but then the other one, of course, off of a turnover. So they really need to clean that up. I think we're going to see Bazemore handle the ball more as we go into this deeper into this second half, if only because he's probably the most trustworthy of the ball handlers that Blaine Taylor has right now.
So it's VCU basketball off this timeout. Old Dominion settles back into zone defense. Batten in for Delancey. Bazemore, Cooper, Iliadis, and Hill for the white-clad Old Dominion Monarchs, who have yet to get a field goal in this half. A shot there by Darius Theus. Challenged on the way up and falls short.
I think Shaka Smart probably would have liked to have seen a touch for Burgess on that possession.
Quickly swung around to find an open Hill. In and out, and Trevion Graham with a strong rebound.
Guess the good news is that one was close.
Here's Briante Weber.
Oh, that was not.
Caused a dent in the glass. As they scramble along, another held ball. This time VCU retains possession.
You know, with all our talk today about this rivalry, and it deserves all the talk that we've had, we forget VCU hasn't lost a game since January 18th.
Yeah.
They won 10 games in a row. Old Dominion's won 9 of their last 11. These are 2 hot clubs, but what has happened with both of them, particularly VCU with this streak, is a very young team has learned how to win. And they've learned how to keep their composure. And remember what I said in the first half about surviving the first half. And now they put themselves in a position where they have a very real chance to steal a game on the road against a good basketball team.
We were justifiably praising Blaine Taylor earlier for back-to-back 27-win seasons as Troy Daniels launches a 3. Haley at 7 feet can't put it back, but he is fouled. But as
that was definitely inside his range.
He should have gotten that. It should have been an N1. But, you know, we talk about what Shaka Smart has accomplished in just his 3rd season. Now, this is another 20 or more win season for the 6th straight year at VCU. And that joins programs like North Carolina, Duke, Syracuse, Ohio State, Marquette, UNLV, BYU. That is an impressive run as well.
Haley needs some work on his free throw shooting. I can tell you that right now without looking at stats out. He's shooting the ball off the side of his hand.
Right. So you'd be shocked to know that coming into the game he was just 7 of 21.
See, and that's not a good percentage from the foul line. It's okay from the 3-point line. 1 of 4 now in the game.
But he's got 6 rebounds, 3 of them offensive, and now VCU, off the Haley miss, retains possession.
If Blaine Taylor's mustache grows back in today, it's going to come in pure gray.
Works baseline.
Oh, that's up and down.
They said it was blocked. Now a double dribble is called by Earl Robinson.
Well, if the ball was blocked, he should be allowed to dribble it again. So I'm a little bit confused.
Well,
see what happens here. Goes up for the shot.
That's where Earl Robinson said it was blocked.
Okay, if it's blocked, he's allowed to dribble again.
You would think. So did Earl make up his own makeup call?
I think Earl felt he missed it the first time.
It's a 5-point Ram lead. Largest of the day for VCU on the road in Norfolk. Iliadis finds Bazemore, who's been held in check. He'll pull up. Front of the iron for Kent Bazemore.
Well, that's a good shot for Kent Bazemore. He's in the lane, he's got space, and he front rims it.
Still only 1 point and no field goals. 8 minutes into the second half for homestanding Old Dominion University.
Amazing how this can happen. This kind of cold spell can happen to good teams. You know, early in the season, Florida State went 12 minutes against Harvard without scoring at the start of the game. So good teams can go cold.
An offensive foul on Trevian Graham. Shaka Smart talking to Troy Daniels. They've got the lead as they've been the team to get something in the second half.
Now more than ever, this is the time to put Hyundai at the top of your list. Hyundai beat Toyota. Hyundai beat Honda. It is now the fastest growing automotive brand in the world. Drive home the Hyundai Tucson or the Hyundai Santa Fe. Both are top safety picks. A 100,000-mile warranty. And during this event, Tucsons are only $259 a month. Or Santa Fe's for only $269 a month. So cross out the rest and buy from the best. Visit your Washington area Hyundai dealers today. Because Hyundai has it.
People take a gamble every day by driving without auto warranty protection. One repair bill could cost you thousands. Logic Car Care has announced affordable mechanical breakdown coverage at direct-to-the-public pricing. This is similar coverage dealers offer at a substantial discount. You get your car fixed, our administrators pay your repair shop directly. 24-hour emergency roadside assistance is included with most plans. Call for a free coverage quote now. Protect yourself from future repair bills. Call now.
No one knows my business like me. That's why I switched to Verizon high-speed internet and phone, because I get to choose what's right for my business. Do I want a 2-year price guarantee or no annual contract? It's my choice, which is great. The classic Ivy League cut? Another great choice.
Switch to Verizon today and choose what's best for your business. A 2-year price guarantee or no annual contract. And with worry-free installation from our expert technicians, you'll be up and running in no time.
As we return to Norfolk, Virginia to look at our game summary, John, obviously a tale of two halves.
Well, no question about it. I mean, we mentioned at halftime Old Dominion shooting 56% in the first half. They're 56% lower than that in this half. VCU, 2 of 11, is the hot team. And the only thing hot on the Old Dominion side is their coach, Blaine Taylor, who got himself teed up, and you can see a lot of his frustration, although there they get a call right after the technical. Both teams doubling a lot to try to create turnovers, but a combined 2 of 21, ODU 0 of 10 in the first 8 minutes and 15 seconds of this half. And Blaine Taylor is hoping that his team will find a way to get the ball in the bucket once, because frequently, Al, when a team is cold like that, the first bucket leads to 2-3 more in a row.
And they are not a catch-up team. They're not an offensive powerhouse. 8th in the CAA, averaging 64.2 points a game. We talked about 10th in field goal percentage, 10th in three-point field goal percentage. So they really got to get it done this way. Hard work inside. Dante Hill can't.
Now 0 for 11. That was good defense by Haley, getting his hands up there and not fouling. But the good news for Old Dominion is they're only down 5.
Yeah.
If they're down double digits, they're in trouble. But down 5, that's essentially 2 possessions.
But they need somebody to display a little bit of confidence in something offensive.
And I think it needs to be Kent Bazemore. He's their best player.
And Daniels gets only the VCU supporters on their feet with that one.
And now the lead grows to 8, and it starts to get serious here for Old Dominion. They need to break this drought before sundown. Or even sooner.
Yeah. As we're closing in on the 10-minute mark of this half, and Old Dominion still without a field goal. Bazemore, no. Cooper the tap. And here's Daniels again.
Yeah, that was a frustration foul there in the backcourt by Hill. Just a bump there. And even though it didn't affect much, it was so out there in the open, it's going to get called every time.
Remember, Dante Hill started this game for Old Dominion with a three-pointer. And you saw that graphic a moment ago. They've only had one other, and that was by Hill in the game. Daniels has got 3 of his own for VCU, as that is a weapon that Shaka Smart has used. Now an offensive foul is called. This is going to be against Bradford Burgess, as he hooked his man trying to get open. And that's going to be number 3 on Burgess. And Old Dominion.
Shaka Smart's going to get him out right now, because he doesn't want to take a chance on him picking up a quick 4th. And what I think he'll do, Al, is he will go with Burgess on the bench, either till the next TV timeout, the under 8 timeout, or if Old Dominion gets going, he'll have to bring him back sooner.
Well, he's actually taking Theus and Haley out.
That's surprising. When he turned around to the bench, I thought he was taking Burgess out. So that was a great theory of mine, wasn't it?
Well, his assistant coaches are now talking to the score.
On the fouls.
Yeah, they want to know if that's exactly 3 as we have it.
Well, it's probably not 2.5.
Hill can't get it, but will get some free throws out of this, as there are now 18 fouls on VCU. So a 1-and-1 situation coming up for Dante Hill.
Usually there's an assistant coach on the bench who is assigned specifically to track fouls for your team, and another assistant coach tracks fouls for the other team. And if you have any question, you just go to the scores table.
So Hill makes it a 9-point performance for himself this afternoon to go with 5 rebounds. And that is a big free throw to finally get anything a positive note. Just the 2nd point of the half.
Well, I don't want to overdo the hockey references, but I do think when Old Dominion scores a field goal, they're all going to throw their arms up in the air and hug one another.
Well, let's see, one more point. That would mean hats would be coming from the stands.
That's right. They'd have the hat trick.
Old Dominion will get the basketball here. It was tipped out of bounds by VCU. Delancey triggers the inbound play. Can Cooper score?
That's not his game out there.
Bazemore won't. One more time. No, again, as we officially hit another dry spell. It is back again for VCU. 3 opportunities.
And look at these shots, though, Al. It's not like they're that close. I mean, these are clangers for the most part. You'd say there's a lid on the rim, except they're not getting the ball inside the cylinder.
Here's Haley back into the contest off that.
Good move to press here by Blaine Taylor. Caught him by surprise there for a moment, and this is close to 10 seconds. They barely got it across court by about half a second.
And now they'll set their offense up. Briante Weber running the show.
If the lead gets into double digits, Blaine Taylor might have to come out of his zone. See what happens.
Burgess. No. The rebound by Graham. Up and blocked. Now we'll get a second chance and turns it over.
Good idea, poor execution.
Here's Hill.
That's goaltending. That was the way they had to score. And there's a foul, I think. It's got to be goaltending.
The referees are talking. Yeah. Ron Tabertsky says yes, count the basket.
Well, I would figure that the first basket they scored would be with the ball not going in the basket. Now watch here. Smart play. Going back with the ball to reset the offense, but an excellent steal. And that's clearly goaltending. And the foul, too. Really nice play by Hill. He's probably been ODU's best player today.
He's their leading scorer with 11. Kent Bazemore sits with 9:23 to go. However, this could be a 4-point game on this free throw. However,
spoke too soon.
Yes, the miseries continue. Now a debate on who's got the basketball. Blaine Taylor wants it. The refs give it to VCU. Blaine's team only 8 of 16 from the free throw line. A difference in a 5-point ball game.
Well, that's an important point, because most teams in college basketball shoot about 70%. So if they're at a normal percentage, this is more like a 2-point ball game, even with their horrible shooting in the second half. There's another brutal shot.
That was a quick trigger that does not set well with Shaka Smart. Patton fires away. Haley right, and away with it is Theus. He pushes off the window on a beautiful high kiss from Darius Theus.
And think about this for a second, Al. One field goal in this half has come out of the half-court offense for either team.
A Trevion Graham foul on that.
Really?
Means 2 free throws for ODU.
That was a big-time move there by Theus going between 2 guys. Watch this nice fake. Gets everybody up in the air and gets it in the basket most significantly.
So that 10th team foul means ODU is in the double bonus. Batten will be shooting 2. But as you see those numbers, it really hasn't made much difference. He's been one of the better free throw shooters on this squad. And you know, these 2 teams, John, were in the finals last year of the CAA tournament. You can catch all the action of the 2012 Virginia 5-9 CAA Men's Basketball Championship that takes place March 2nd through the 5th at the Richmond Coliseum. Log on to CAAsports.com for more details.
One of my favorite conference tournament settings is the Richmond Coliseum. Just a great old barn of a building and usually rocks the last couple days.
The crowd trying to get the Monarchs back in it in a 5-point contest with 8:35 to go.
Now the crowd is alive, really for the first time this half, other than after the Blaine Taylor technical. Here's poor ball handling by Theus.
Turned over and fouled was Nick Wright. Theus scrambling for the loose ball, ends up taking Nick Wright down. And Shaka Smart trying to appeal to the referees.
Theus was out of control there. Really created a turnover here, even if he got the ball up in the direction of the basket. You see, he flings it up there and then reaches clearly in and fouls.
And John, that is 4 fouls on VCU's main ball handler. Freshman Briante Weber will come in for Theus with those 4 fouls. There is Weber getting the word from the man he's about to replace.
And Blaine Taylor, when he sees Briante Weber come into the game, I would think he's going to go to full court pressure every chance he gets. He still can't make free throws.
Nick Wright with 10 points and 8 rebounds, but now just 2 of 6 from the free throw line.
You mentioned, and you're right, that it is cool in the building today for whatever reason, and that affects players too, because you're used to working up a really good sweat as the game goes on, and I guarantee you they're not getting their normal sweat because it is cool in here today.
Dante Hill picks up his 3rd personal foul.
And both teams fouling a lot now, and I think those are frustration fouls because they're struggling so much offensively.
There you see the situation, ODU in a little better foul situation, understandably. Can they take advantage of the VCU foul troubles, and particularly no Darius Theus, the key ball handler. Rob Brandenburg getting the duties there with Briante Weber. So you've got Weber the freshman, Brandenburg the sophomore. We did mention they are the 9th youngest team in the NCAA. But Bradford Burgess, their senior, says, I'll handle things.
And that was exactly the shot Shaka Smart wanted there, because that's the guy he wants with the ball when the crowd starts to get in the game. And then he calls a quick timeout because he wants to kind of reset things for his guys, because the game has been up and down and balls rolling all over on the floor and guys diving on it. So he wants to calm his guys down a little bit after they make a big bucket to make sure they're ready to play defense. That's Burgess's 4th 3 of the game.
Just can't imagine a VCU team without Bradford Burgess. 137th straight start he made today. He's just 7 away now from Patrick Ewing's all-time record. So that could get them, they get into the tournament with a couple of games in there. Bradford Burgess could do that. That's how much he has meant to this VCU squad. He's played with great players over his career.
Yeah.
High school played with Ed Davis, who's played at UNC, now with the Toronto Raptors. Of course, he played with Eric Maynor, Larry Sanders, Joey Rodriguez. So he has been a guy who's been around, and now is his time.
Well, Shaka Smart said the toughest adjustment for him this season is, as you said, he spent most of his career as Robin. And this year he's got to be Batman. And today, so far, he has been.
Hooper looking, no, but a foul again, and free throws coming. So, can Old Dominion get it done at the free throw line? They've been ice cold from the field, but they're still in it, down by 8.
Japan's leading airline, has been at the forefront in bringing you the Boeing 787 Dreamliner as the launch carrier on behalf of the airlines of the world. ANA, a vision of the future.
What makes you trust a company? Wait, scratch that. What makes you trust a car insurance company? A talking animal? A talking character? A talking animal character? How fancy their commercials are, maybe? Or how many there are? But what about when a company's customers do the talking? Esurance customers are saying stuff like awesome and rockin', and they aren't even paid to. Fancy that. Esurance. Insurance for the modern world. Click or call.
Toyota trucks are different. Tacoma is built for your life's adventures. Dependable day in and day out. For weekend warriors and as a die-hard work truck. Tacomas also do better when it comes to fuel costs. And now get $500 cash back or lease for just $229 a month. Toyotas also come with Toyota Care, a complimentary 2-year maintenance plan with roadside assistance. You heard me, complimentary. Toyota trucks are different.
A second half reversal for VCU. They are now on top, and it's an 8-point lead. John, we are looking. There's nothing on top of that ODU basket. The only field goal of the half for the Monarchs has been on a goaltend call.
Yeah, I don't see a lid there. I do see a lot of chip paint.
Yeah.
And you can see 1 for 20. That's just extraordinary shooting, and I don't mean that in a complimentary way, unfortunately. You know, when you're a coach, the one thing you cannot control in a game is the way your team is shooting. You can control defense to a certain extent. You can control hustle. You can control making smart plays, running your offense. But if the ball doesn't go in the basket, there's really nothing you can do.
Cooper rattles home the first of his 2 free throws. He is now 2 of 3 from the line. He's got a 4-point, 8-rebound performance.
That's nearly miraculous. 2 out of 2.
Blaine Taylor's going to have to get that. So it's a 6-point ball game, and you see the full court pressure that you anticipated.
And they use Burgess to bring it up. Very smart move.
Brandenburg posts in the corner.
And Shaka Smart can't be unhappy with that possession, except for the fact that the ball didn't go in.
Here's Markel Delancey to run the show from Old Dominion.
Got to be careful with that 5-second call there.
Cooper.
That's 4.
A whistle before.
I think they called it.
Offensive foul.
That's 4.
As Rob Wilkes and Blaine Taylor look on.
Let's watch and see what happens here. Burgess gets position. That's a good call. He put his shoulder down.
John, that's exactly why Chris Cooper did not start today. You had talked about what Blaine Taylor had said, that there are times, rightly or wrongly, he gets into foul trouble, and we're seeing it again here at a critical time.
He's got a very big body, and he's not particularly graceful. He's strong. He's a great rebounder. Averages more than 10 rebounds a game.
Yeah, he's the automatic double-double guy.
Yeah, 11 points, 10 rebounds a game. But right there, he just put his shoulder down, and you're going to get called for that every time. Earl Robinson is right there.
Bazemore turns it over and scores.
And the place goes wild.
Well, the man you would expect to bring Old Dominion back is Kent Bazemore. He does it with a steal at one end, the finish, and a chance for a 3-point play. And how about some hugs from Blaine Taylor?
I told you there would be hugs when they finally got a field goal that went in the basket. And Bazemore says, yup, I can do that. Free throw shooting, not so much. But that's going to be Old Dominion ball.
So the crowd helping out here. And a 4-point ball game with ODU, another possession. And you see where Kent Bazemore now has moved in all time in the Colonial Athletic Association. He's got 3 this afternoon to put him in select company around the conference.
Shaka Smart and Ron Taberski are having a conversation over there about something. I'm not exactly sure what that was about. But as usual, the coach walks away not happy.
Iliadis rings it around, and another foul. This on Trevion Graham.
And that's a good call. Graham could not get to the ball, and as a result, trying to get to it, he ended up fouling Hill. And Iliadis has not been able to buy a shot from outside, much like the rest of his teammates, of course. There you see the push. Obvious call, and Hill goes to the line for 2. This feels almost like a power play. I know I'm using a lot of hockey analogies, but you're a hockey guy.
Thank you very much.
But it feels like the ball's been in Old Dominion's end for a lot of the last few minutes, and they're 2 for 21 from the field, and they're about to be down 2 if Hill can make this shot in the second half.
It's because of 23 fouls against VCU. Hill 1 of 2. Burgess, who we mentioned, just joined select company on the all-time, or Bazemore with the all-time steal list. And Burgess passing Gerald Henderson today, so a couple of our key performers reaching milestones this afternoon.
Huge possession here for VCU. I think they need to get Burgess a touch. There he is.
Monarchs in a man-to-man with Bazemore watching Burgess.
5 seconds on the clock, though. Going to go one-on-one. He lost it. Good defense by Bazemore again.
Now he'll try some offense.
Timeout.
A 1-point ball game with Kent Bazemore getting the only 2 buckets that have actually gone through the hoop from the field for Old Dominion this second half.
And again, that was a great matchup, one-on-one there of Bazemore. And I think Iliadis came from behind and poked the ball loose. And Bazemore, who is, like the rest of his teammates, been cold, warms up and puts his team within 1 there.
It's the 10-point mark this afternoon. Kent Bazemore in the top 11 in the CAA in points, assists, and steals. Now he's 3rd all-time in steals here at Old Dominion, but with that steal he had earlier, John, passes Chasen Allen of Northeastern for 6 all-time. He's got to catch Lester Lyons, Joey Rodriguez, Brandon Johnson, Brett Blizzard, and Jarian Childs.
And there you see, you mentioned the 23 fouls committed by VCU, and that's why Theus, Haley, and Graham have 4, Reddick and Daniels 3. Significantly for ODU, Cooper with 4. But that last play, got to give Iliadis credit because he came from behind and poked it loose.
So Old Dominion on a 7-0 run despite their miseries from the field.
That's a turnover. Ooh, I thought that went off his foot. And I think Earl Robinson agrees with me. Oh, no, 10 seconds. He didn't get it across midcourt. Good call by Earl Robinson.
So the 17th turnover against Shaka Smart's Rams. And Old Dominion with a chance to retake the lead. So happy you're with us for the game we expected now. 2 longtime rivals, ODU and VCU, here at the Ted Constant Convocation Center. Al Koken and John Feinstein here on Comcast Sportsnet with 5:25 to go in the second half. That has been an ice-cold second half for Old Dominion, but still with a chance to take a lead.
Shot clock under 10 now.
Bazemore, can he give it to him?
Good defense there, forced him to fall away. That's why it was short.
Burgess challenges Bazemore, a block by Batten, but a foul on the play.
And that the VCU bench wanted goaltending, but it wasn't. The ball was on the way up. So, watch here, Burgess attacking, which is very smart. And there on the help is the block by Batten, but the ball was on the way up. Bazemore committed the foul. Batten with a good block.
2 great looks. Thanks to our outstanding crew here in Norfolk, Virginia. Burgess shooting 2. That is the 17th foul, by the way, on Old Dominion. So a little bonus situation for Shaka Smart's squad, who do a little better job from the stripe at 69%.
Shaka Smart talking to Earl Robinson there about the 10 seconds. I think he thought that Weber was across midcourt, but I don't think he was. I think that was a good call. Always helps out when you go in the bonus the first time that you don't have to shoot 1-1, that it's a 2-shot foul. It just means they're only going to no more than 2 times that you have to face that 1-1 pressure.
Kent Bazemore hitting the 20-point plateau now for the
zone for VCU
4th time
here.
this year, John. 14th of his career.
Isn't that remarkable? They haven't hit it from outside all half. They go to the zone, and they immediately hit a 3.
So now it's VCU's turn to go cold. Their last field goal was at the 7:55 mark. And the game is deadlocked at 52 all.
That was on the floor. Graham will have to shoot 1-1 now. And that's another college basketball rule I'm not crazy about. I like the NBA rule where that basket would have counted on continuation, because I don't think you should penalize a player because he's able to make a shot right after getting fouled.
This is the bucket that tied the game.
Nice look. Always get it to the lefty, I said.
He's been the real three-point weapon this afternoon, has been Dante Hill for Old Dominion. Graham breaks the tie.
Graham's a very good-looking freshman player. This, as you mentioned, this is a very young VCU team. Now, they'll miss Burgess a lot next year, but all these guys will be a year older and will have played a lot of basketball under pressure.
Of course, as you know, coaches don't really look at freshmen as freshmen at this time of year. And Trevion Graham starting to pay Shaka Smart back for that confidence.
Actually, coaches look at players as freshmen for all 4 years. I love guys who have 4 seniors in their starting lineup who talk about how young their team is. Bobby Cremins used to do that all the time. And we hope Bobby's doing well, by the way. On leave of absence from College of Charleston right now. Apparently just exhausted.
Shot clock under 10 for Bazemore. In and out. The tip up by Wright and got it home.
Bazemore set that up by forcing the help to come to him, and that left guys open to get to the boards. Offensive rebound, and we talked about that as one of ODU's real strengths early in the game.
Nick Wright's 12th point has produced a tie at 54. Old Dominion, John, 13 offensive boards.
That's what they do. Throw it up at the glass and go get it.
Burgess rings around on a 3. Wright chases down the loose ball. The Monarchs a chance to take the lead as we approach the 3-minute mark of this second half.
Let's see what VCU does defensively. They're back in man-to-man. And it produces a steal.
He tried to force it to Bazemore. The Rams were ready.
Cooper should be in the low post on that play. That's where he's most effective.
And Shaka Smart wants a timeout. He'll take a 30.
He recognizes a key possession when he sees one. He does not want to fall behind. They had the lead for most of this half. Old Dominion has caught up, tied the game a couple times, but VCU has never gone behind. And when you're on the road and you've had the lead, you fall behind, it can be very tough to turn it back around.
So you see the timeouts remaining. 1 now left for Shaka Smart. And talk about an upcoming tough schedule. How do you go this late in the season without seeing George Mason?
Yeah, and they're going to see him twice in a period of 12 days. And Shaka Smart was talking last night about how he was telling his players, okay, fellas, we've gotten ourselves into position with this 10-game winning streak at 21-5. But now it really begins. It begins with Old Dominion, then at George Mason, Northern Iowa, a team like VCU that may be on the bubble if they don't win their conference tournament, at UNC Wilmington, and then George Mason again. That is a tough road to hoe in a 2-week period.
You never do a game at UNC Wilmington and say the building's cold, do you? Trask Coliseum is always hot and humid.
Well, that's because Michael Jordan grew up in Wilmington, and his coach, Dean Smith, always liked the building hot and humid.
And man, you used to see going against your Blue Devils, Buzz Peterson doing a great job down in Wilmington, as Burgess tried to beat the shot clock, got the back iron, and a foul again on VCU.
And that's a bad foul to commit 80 feet from the basket. And I think Haley just fouled out.
So we'll sort it out for you. 2:31 to go. Old Dominion with a chance to break the tie at the free throw line.
I believe the produce you find at Kroger is better than anywhere else, period.
It's gotta be fresh.
Every kind of meat I put out is absolutely fresh.
You can really taste the difference.
We bake our bread fresh in our store.
You can't get any fresher.
If you need fresh flowers, Kroger has something beautiful.
You have to see what we have to offer in organic and natural foods.
At Kroger, we're focused on quality.
I'm focused on quality.
I'm focused on quality.
I'm focused on quality.
I'm focused on quality.
Get more value
for the way you live.
Every day at Kroger.
Pure adrenaline.
Everything you love about Geico. Now mobile. Download the new Geico app today.
You do your thing, leave the rest to us. Ramada Worldwide. Now do your thing for less. Save 20%. You do your thing, leave the rest to us. Ramada Worldwide. Now do your thing for less. Save 20%.
It's what we expected for the 87th meeting between these two squads. A couple teams that have combined for 6 of the last 10 CAA championships. Hasn't been a work of art from the field, however, in the second half, Mr. Feinstein.
I was going to say, I think we expected the game to be this tight, but we didn't expect it to get this tight this way. If you look at the combined shooting there in this half, and Old Dominion has gotten hot to get to 5 of 28. Yeah. At one point, they were 1 for 20, so they made 4 of their last 8. They're on a roll. And now they go to the free throw line with a chance to take the lead. By the way, speaking of Buzz Peterson, the coach at UNC Wilmington, he's the answer to one of the great all-time trivia questions.
And that would be?
Well, after we show the foul trouble, I'll answer.
And you see why ODU has a chance to do their damage at the line.
And Haley just fouled out. That was his 5th foul. So Reddick back in the game in his place.
And Bazemore shooting as this team is 13 of 25. And add those numbers up.
1981.
Okay.
When Buzz Peterson and Michael Jordan were both high school seniors, Buzz Peterson was the North Carolina High School Player of the Year. Which, needless to say, Michael's never let him forget.
So good work at the stripe to make it a 2-point advantage for Old Dominion.
And this session now becomes absolutely critical for VCU because they have lost the lead now. And if they lose the lead and give ODU the ball, they could be in trouble.
Weber and Theus in the backcourt for the Rams. Trevion Graham with Reddick. And no Burgess as Troy Daniels is in. Theus decides to square away and hammers in a 3.
That shades of Joey Rodriguez. The point guard stepping up at a moment like that and just saying, I can do this.
Under 2 with a 1-point VCU lead. Iliadis free. He hits his first of the day.
He hasn't been close all day long. And he drains that one.
So suddenly we're seeing field goals fly in with ease after struggles the entire half by both squads.
Shaka Smart only has 1 timeout left. And they get a foul in there. Sorry, I should correct myself. Haley did not foul out on that last foul. That was his 4th. He's still in the game. It's my mistake. But the good news for VCU is that they're on the line. The bad news is it's 1-1.
And Javante Reddick, a 67% free throw shooter, looked good on that one.
Looked very comfortable shooting that one. He's been relatively quiet today. Shaka Smart said, he made an interesting point. He said that their most important player is Burgess, but in conference play, their best player has probably been Reddick, although he misses that second.
And missed the opportunity to tie the game again. 1:20 to go in Norfolk, Virginia, with most of this sellout crowd on their feet. Bazemore finds Wright. won't get it to roll. Bazemore the foul.
Wright kept it alive even after he missed it, and that allowed Bazemore to come in from the weak side to get that rebound.
ODU by 3 with under a minute to go. Burgess. Yes!
I was about to say, that's who you want to shoot it there. Big time shot there by Burgess. And now there's about a 13-second difference on the shot clock, so Old Dominion just needs to run their offense because they're not going to get a last shot.
Turnover. Reddick creates the steal. Finds Theus.
My goodness.
And one.
My goodness. Great coaching move by Shaka Smart. He completely surprised Old Dominion by doubling the ball near midcourt. When you would expect in that situation, you drop back. But look at them. They attack defensively, create the turnover there, and Reddick gets it to Theus, who hits a big-time shot and gets fouled.
That's 5 fouls on Dante Hill.
And that's Hill's 5th. And this gives Blaine Taylor an unofficial timeout, because they give you 30 seconds to sub after a 5th foul. Again, I think it's ridiculous. You know who you're going to sub. You shouldn't get a timeout because one of your players fouls out. But he's using this so that after the free throw, he won't have to call a timeout to set up his next play.
Of course, this free throw presents a myriad of possibilities. Make or miss. A make, obviously, makes it a 3-point game, so Blaine Taylor's strategy would change there. A miss, and you're looking at a situation where Blaine can go in a number of other different directions.
Well, even if Theus makes it and becomes a 3-point lead, you do not have to shoot a 3 here with almost 31 seconds left to go. I think you try to attack and get the best shot possible rather than forcing a 3.
And a big free throw dropped in by Darius Theus, who only is 60% from the field. It is a 3-point game. VCU now 16 of 23 from the strike.
Bazemore sets the offense here.
Iliadis, the quick trigger.
See, I don't think they needed that shot.
He was open, but boy, that was a quick pull for the senior from Perth, Western Australia.
I think sometimes teams think down 3, you need 3. That's not always the case, because even if they get 2, even if they foul and they make both shots, you're still only down 3.
Now look at our Geico play of the game moments ago. Darius Theus off the steal by Javante Reddick. Theus is back at the line where he hits the first of his 2. So Darius Theus, part of our Geico play of the game, and now Blaine Taylor looks at a 4-point, possibly 5-point deficit, as Theus could make this a critical 2-possession game.
Now I would expect here down 5 that you're going to see Bazemore take the ball and go straight to the basket, because they have to score right now. And he should go straight to the basket, because that's not what they wanted. That's not what they wanted.
Iliadis will turn and hit the 3.
That's what they wanted. But if Bazemore goes to the basket, there would have been 12 or 13 seconds left. Now there's 7.4, and they got a lucky break that they got that offensive rebound.
Wow. All right, take a look with the clock. So there's the too early shot for you, John.
As far as I'm concerned, but then great step back shot here by Iliadis to keep Old Dominion alive.
They may put a 1/10 of a second back on, but this is great by Iliadis.
Yeah. And then he had just missed on the last possession. Actually, a better shot than that one. Because on that last shot, he was going backwards.
Well, once again, Old Dominion's offensive rebounding critical to give Iliadis that chance. 23 offensive boards for the Monarchs. 7.4 seconds remaining. VCU will inbound the basketball. You would imagine a foul coming?
Well, they're going to try to steal it off the inbounds. If they don't get a steal, they will foul right away. And of course, VCU is going to want to get it into the hands of one of their good free throw shooters. I would think their first choice would be Burgess, cutting back for the ball here.
Although Theus is now 5 of 5 for the game from the line.
They used Burgess as a decoy there and went to the other side of the court, actually, to Weber, and now the freshman goes to the line with 6.1 to go.
80% shooter is Briante Weber.
Yeah, but he's never been in this position.
No. 1 of 2 for the day. VCU 12 of 17. Shaka Smart has seen them go from the line. And VCU should have a pretty good opportunity no matter what happens here. Blaine Taylor going for the freeze.
Blaine Taylor says let the freshman think about it before he shoots. And is he going to call his? No, he's going to call 30 rather than call the full. Although the ODU players are sitting on the benches, if they called it a full, Ron Kaburski indicated it was a 30.
So we think that is that's their last time out, as you see what ODU
so
has.
They have to take a full.
And I'll tell you what, those last two CAA games at Georgia State and then against Bruiser Flint's Drexel team are going to be very critical to decide, particularly if ODU cannot win today, if they get one of those top 4 spots.
Right, and obviously the Georgia State game ongoing against Delaware will play a key role in that. But going on the road to Georgia State is not easy, and Drexel's tough anyway.
By the way, we will have that game against Drexel that will be here, and you'll see it on Comcast Sportsnet coming up on the 25th.
Now, I'm sorry, I'll go ahead.
No, I was going to say, for the season, we've seen Briante Weber shoot 42 free throws and make 33 of them. So, updated standings, and how big is this for Old Dominion today?
Yeah, and you can see that Old Dominion, by winning, would move into a tie with VCU, pending the results of the Drexel and George Mason games.
And Delaware have a 2-point lead at Georgia State with 10 seconds remaining in overtime.
So they're in a similar situation as we are. 2-point game with under 10 seconds, 6.1 here, and Weber's got 2 after thinking about it. And both coaches have told their teams what to do, depending on whether it's a 1-possession game or a 2-possession game.
Pretty cool for Briante Weber. One of the key recruits for Shaka Smart, right out of Blaine Taylor's backyard here in Chesapeake, Virginia.
He makes this. Shaka Smart's going to call timeout to tell his players, please do not foul someone shooting a 3.
Interesting little right hand cock behind for Briante Weber. Almost a triggering mechanism like a forward press for a golf swing, and he gets that thing going.
Whatever works is all that matters. And Shaka Smart called that timeout simply to tell his players, give them any shot they want right now. If they want to fight, but do not foul someone shooting a 3-point shot.
You would imagine it's got to be Bazemore. You've called for this all day. He's had a history this year of having some big buzzer beaters, hit a 3 at Delaware at the buzzer. So Kent Bazemore has got that type of ability.
Hit another shot to put a game into overtime earlier, too. Yeah.
So you would think that this is where they're going to go. However, Iliadis has hit the last 2. And that's why that 5th foul on Dante Hill also factors in, because he's been the best 3-point shooter today for ODU.
Yeah, high score with 15 points. Basically what they have to do, what VCU is going to do, because Shaka Smart's a good coach, they're not going to let them roll the ball inbounds like teams like to do and pick it up at center court. So as soon as that ball comes inbounds, they're going to have to get it up court and into shooting position for a 3-point shooter as quickly as possible. Notice Bazemore is way down here at the far end of the court, hoping that maybe VCU won't notice him and they can throw a length of the court pass to him so they can get a really quick shot.
Briante Weber's walking right there. So is Bradford Burgess. They won't forget about that man.
He's too big to be missed. You know, literally and physically and metaphorically.
That game tire you talked about was against James Madison University. Here it is into Bazemore's hands. He will get a chance off the rim. Delancey back, no, and that's how it ends. The win streak is 11 for Shaka Smart as they come into Norfolk and beat Blaine Taylor and Old Dominion and keep themselves atop the conference in what is going to be a battle down the stretch in the final 2 weeks of the CAA regular season. We'll be back to wrap it up from Norfolk after this on Comcast Sportsnet.
Great environment, boy. The Ted Constant Center looked like $1 million today with all those people in there, and you know, we've just had great attendance all year long. So thanks to the fans, and depending on what happens this Tuesday, we'll probably end up leading the league in attendance, despite the fact that VCU's selling out every game. So a little bit of another battle going on there. If you look at the stat sheet and you watch the game, you know, we outplayed VCU in a lot of categories. That might have surprised some folks. You know, if you had said, if you look at the stat sheet, we're going to have more steals than them, you'd say, really? And if you'd say that the turnovers were even, you would say, really? And then the fact we out-rebounded 12, you'd say, well, You know, those guys probably gained an edge there. But what you go back to is the shooting percentage. We had the drought, but you get to the end of the game, and they had a couple of balls that were really tough shots that went down after we had gotten ahead. Despite all that had happened, they hit a couple of Hail Mary threes at the end, towards the end of the clock, that were not easy shots. We pretty much had them stymied on those possessions, and they made threes. We answered them some, but if you look at the 38 to 36 percentage, you'd say, well, pretty even shooting percentage. But where they gained ground was when the ball rolled off their hands at the free throw line and at the three-point line. That's where they gained, you know, an edge that was enough to win by 4.
Coach, can you comment a little bit just on the performance of Bradford Burgess this afternoon?
Well, there's a difference in the game, probably, if you look at it. You know, you look at 5 for 9 from 3, and that's where they gain their advantage. He shoots 50% from the floor, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. You know, has 5 steals, 6 rebounds. He played a great all-around game. But I think some of the plays he made were you know, difference makers. You know, he did a pretty good job of doing a lot of different things for them. And you know, at the end of today, you know, give credit where credit's due. We're going to have a circumstance where, you know, we've beaten these guys, I don't know, in the last 8 years. I was looking at some articles somebody wrote. We've beaten these guys 11 times in the last 8 years. And 10 times, I think, in the last 8 years. But, you know, 5 of those times we had to beat them in Richmond. So it's almost like we got to play 2 for 1 with those guys, because typically we play home and home, and then we got to play in the tournament. And so we've had, every time we've won the tournament, which is 3 times, we've had to beat VCU in Richmond. So, you know, despite the outcome, and no matter what happened here today, that was still probably the reality, is when you go to Richmond, you're probably going to be playing for even more of the marbles. And, you know, they've got bragging rights for a while, but there still looms that possibility out there. And for us, it seems like just inevitable that we get to go have to try to win a road game in Richmond to try to win the championship, and that's just a fact. We're quite comfortable with that.
You mentioned the drought. I think you guys get 14 for 25 in the first half and then have that long stretch. Did you do anything defensively, or were you guys not pressing?
Well, you know, I haven't had a technical in about 3 years. I mean, just trying to be so physical with us that to try to disrupt, and I just thought that was, you know, a difference maker. He was trying to see how much they could bump and get away with, and if the officials weren't looking, how much they could grab. And that's why I got technical, and I thought during that stretch that was, you know, kind of what was going on a little bit, and I thought, you know, we end up with a situation with a little bit of frustration. The ball doesn't go in, but during that same stretch, it wasn't exactly, you know, they weren't reinventing the Pete's basket either.
What was the second technical for play?
Well, Delancey was getting rid of floor pretty good, you know, over and over and over, and he turned around to the official and just, you know, said, you know, blow the whistle, would you?
Did you feel like you might have caught the ref's attention a little bit after you got that first technical?
I don't get technicals, so, you know, if I do, somebody should probably do some soul searching that they're, you know, they look good on TV, but they weren't looking in good in my eyes at that point.
I thought both teams played really hard. Give ODU a lot of credit for the way they battled on the glass. They were terrific in the second half, just taking it to us on their offensive glass. You know, it seemed like every possession we would get a stop, but they would get the rebound. And, I give our guys credit for hanging in there and playing through, you know, ODU's push, and also playing through some foul trouble and a lot of calls that might not have gone our way. And then at the end of the game, we made some big plays. I thought the steal by Reddick was huge, and you know, obviously Brad's 3, and then guys stepped to the line and made the free throws. That was the difference.
Was Darius trying to get you to put him back in the game earlier?
Yeah, I got mad at him on the bench because they were making a run, as you know, and there's about 6.5 minutes left, and Darius sometimes he looks at me and he kind of makes a face, and you know, I know exactly what he means. And I yelled at him. I said, I can't put you in. I need you in at the end. Remember Alabama? Because remember against Alabama, we fouled out with 4 minutes left and we fell apart. So I thought he did a good job when he got back in there, playing under control, playing poised, made some big shots, and big free throws.
They were saying you told him
after he took the first three and missed. You got mad at him for taking it because it's not his game, and he took another one and knocked it down.
Well, he took two in the first half that were kind of quick. And Old Dominion, I give them a lot of credit. They really played their zone really, really well today. Their zone was much tougher today than it was when we played at our place. They were just all over the place, active hands. They made some good adjustments to the stuff that we run. But Darius got a couple open looks against the zone. But I tried to explain to him in the first half, attack on the dribble, that's what you are. You're a driver. You're not a shooter. And then after we won, when I got back in the locker room, I said, Darius, you're not a three-point shooter. Facetiously, because that three he made, that was as big as anything.
How about your own half-court defense there early in the second half? They weren't getting anything.
Yeah, it's been a big area of emphasis for us, and Old Dominion is a very tough team to guard. They run good stuff. You know what's coming, but they're very physical. They set very good screens. I thought our guys did a nice job really sitting down and taking away some of the stuff that they did. And again, the offensive rebounds that really helped Old Dominion and hurt us, but we got just enough stops.
Bradford, can you talk about him? Because he obviously led today the way you want to see a guy lead.
Yeah, he was phenomenal. This last two games, he's really had great bounce. I knew coming into the year that it was going to be an adjustment for Brad. He's never really had to be the main guy, the Batman, if you want to say. He's always had other guys around him that are phenomenal players that he could kind of play off. But this year, it's been an adjustment. But I think he's done a great job leading us all year long. We would fall apart if he wasn't in the game, not just because he's our best scorer, but also because he holds everything together from a communication standpoint, especially on the defensive end.
Brad had a stretch up through Wednesday night, before Wednesday night, where he wasn't playing all that well, and you continued to run off the wings. Was that a little bit of his leadership even helping the other guys? Some of these young guys started to really grow up.
No question, yeah. But Brad's a team guy. He leads, and he's very, very positive, whether he's playing great or whether his shot's not going down. We've won 11 in a row now, and we've done that in a lot of different ways. Today it was with Brad and Darius leading the way. Other games it's been Javonte Reddick stepping up and being the man. Troy Daniels has had his nights. That's what good teams do. They find different guys that can step up.
Any other questions for Coach?
Yeah, what are you guys going to work on between now and Tuesday when you take on Virginia?
We'll work on our blocking out and defensive rebounding. That's for sure, because George Mason is also a very good offensive rebounding team. We'll work on some stuff to specifically prepare for what Mason does. I've seen them on tape some, but I have not locked in on them yet. Obviously, we prepare for this game. Brian Pearson's as tough of a matchup as anybody in the league, so we'll have to come up with some stuff to try to guard him. And just doing what we do is what we have to do. We have a lot of pride and respect for our opponents, but we also feel like VCU basketball is when we play our best, when we play the way we play, we're tough to beat. And that's what we have to do going up there on the road. We've got to play our best basketball.
Any other questions?